Hello, welcome to episode 45 of Little Bobbins Knits. My name is Dani and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. We have a Ravelry group which you can find by searching Little Bobbins Knits in the groups tab on Ravelry, and show notes for the podcast can be found at littlebobbins.co.uk. I'd be really interested to hear actually if you get benefit from the show notes, because I didn't do them last week and I'll put up a sort of short version of them, but yeah, I'd really be interested to know if you actually use them, because they do take a bit of time. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's really lovely to be back chatting with you. I don't know what it is, but I just can't get back into a good routine of podcasting, and it's sad. I'm just getting really nervous about podcasting, and it's stupid and I shouldn't, so yeah, hopefully I can get over that soon, because I really miss chatting with you. So yes, must try. I've got so much to show you today. My list, usually my sort of little notes that I take of things that I want to mention in the podcast, is usually about a page, but it's gone over, well, it's usually sort of a sparse page, but today I've got 2 full pages and I seem to have written in some sort of code, so I hope I can actually understand what I've written. But I've got some works in progress to show you, some finished objects, and see, I can't read my writing, some lovely things. And we've also got a new knit along starting, which I'm really excited about, so I'll tell you all about that. Got a little bobbin here. Are you going to come and say hello, little bobbin? It made me so happy that so many of you were amused by his teeth in the last episode. You never know if that's just one of those things that you just find amusing because he's your dog, but yeah, it made me smile. So let's get into some works in progress. I'll just give you a little treat, shall I? Because you'll just get upset if you can see them. So yes, I've got quite a few works in progress this time, and they're mostly new, I think. One of them I started a few months ago and have just picked up again. But my first work in progress is in this adorable little bag, well, basket. I went to the Waltham Abbey wool show a couple of weeks ago. I'll tell you about that in a bit, but I got this completely cute little basket there. I hope the lighting's okay today. I decided to film in front of the window again because it's just so grey, and a few of you said that it gave you a good sort of view of things colour wise, so I hope it's okay. I've got a few more lights on because it's just greyness outside. It's so dreary and drizzly, so I hope everything's alright. I just noticed, because this looks incredibly bright, but I suppose it actually is bright, so that might be why. Oh dear. So my first work in progress is so much fun. It's the Chester Basin hat. Oh, excuse you, Bubbles. And it's by Fiona Alice, and it's out of this Take Heart book. This is something that I also got at the Waltham Abbey wool show. Fiona Alice had a stand there, and yeah, I was really excited to get this. This book was published by Pom Pom, and they just do it so well. All of the Pom Pom quarterly magazines are so just such an all-round treat to read. They are interesting, the patterns are wonderful, and the paper quality and the photography is just beautiful, and this book is exactly the same. All of the patterns in here are designed by Fiona Alice, and she talks a little bit about where she got her inspiration from for each of the patterns. It's just a lovely read. The pictures are beautiful, and I love the sketches that there are on each of the pages. Just so lovely. I think it's focusing on the face over there instead of the sketch, but hopefully you get the gist. But yeah, so that's the pattern that I'm knitting at the moment, Chester Basin hat. It also has some matching mitts. And I fell so in love with this book that I decided I really wanted to knit all of the patterns in this book. And I was chatting to my friend Deb, who's Tink Hickman, on Ravelry and Instagram, and she feels exactly the same about this book, so we're going to knit through the entire book together. It's going to be so fun. So we're starting with this hat, and then next time Deb's going to choose the pattern, and yeah, can go all the way through. It's just got some fantastic patterns in it. Perhaps I'll just show you a few before I start showing you my works in progress. It's this lovely shawl, which I just think is so intriguing. It's really interesting shapes, interesting construction. It's got some hats and some mitts, some adorable socks. I'm looking forward to them. I know exactly what I'm going to knit them out of already. Some leg warmers, and this cowl I absolutely love. I've made a plan to try and knit most of these out of stash yarn, but I think the cowl is the one that I'm going to have to buy yarn for, because I don't have that sort of amount of different coloured yarns in the same yarn. Did that make any sense? It's worsted weight, and I don't tend to stash worsted weight, so yes. So I'm really excited to knit my way through this, and would highly recommend the book if you can get your hands on it. And if you'd like to join Deb and I in knitting our way through the entire book, then please do. It'd be absolutely lovely to have you along to knit with us. We've set up a hashtag on Instagram, and yeah, if you're interested in making it a podcast knit along, then just let me know and we can set up a thread in the group as well. Hello, oh my goodness, you're so cute. So my hat. Oh, hello baby. Here's my hat so far. Oh, and I absolutely love this. It's a really fun stitch pattern, and this is sort of the time. I had a question about how I use variegated yarns, and this is the sort of time that I really love using variegated yarns, where you just sort of see little peaks of it, so you can't see any sort of uniform blotchiness, for want of a better word. You can just see really interesting colour changes. I'm really enjoying how this is coming out. It's a slip stitch pattern, and I am finding it's not growing very much, but I don't know if that's just because I'm working on so many different things at the moment that I'm not dedicating enough time to it, or whether it is just a bit slow. It's got a lovely folded up rib section, and then the beautiful slip stitch pattern. I don't know if you can see the texture of that, it's just gorgeous. And this fabric here is so squishy because it's got all of the bits being carried at the back. It is just so squishable. I'm knitting it out of Malabrigo Rios, and this is the cocoa colourway. There's a bit of sellotape on it, it's now stuck to me. This is leftovers from the Gramps cardie that I just used to knit that. Yeah, the Gramps cardie that I just knit. And this is the colour that I'd planned to pair with the Gramps cardie, but thought it was a bit too close in colour. And you can see that there are bits where it is extremely close. So like here, it's mostly just brown because some of the browns in here are very close to the cocoa brown. It's got some lovely different colours through, different shades of purple and browns. Really love this. I'm knitting it on some Knit Pro Zings 6mm. I got these because I know I've mentioned before how the Knit Pro aren't my top favourite. Higher Sharps are my favourites. But I got these because, oh, I am really seduced by the colour. It's terrible really. And also they are a lot cheaper than the higher sharps. On Get Knitted, getknitted.co.uk, they, I think, still have got 20% off all Knit Pro needles. So it made them really, really good value. And I wanted a few pairs in preparation for the other hats in the, or a few sets of the short 40cm circular in preparation for some of the other hats in the book. So yeah, it just worked out much more budget friendly. Robin's stolen one of my arms now, so that might make things a bit more difficult to show you. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying that. I'm really excited about knitting my way through the book with Deb. My next work in progress is sort of a finished object as well. The other day, I really fancied doing some spinning. I haven't done any spinning, excuse me, for quite a while. I really enjoy spinning, but I just love knitting so much more. Whenever I'm spinning, I'm sort of thinking, oh, I'd really rather be knitting, but I really like knitting with hand spun, so just got to do it sometimes. And I think another reason that spinning isn't my sort of top craft is because I feel like there is so much more chance for error. You have these beautiful braids, beautiful fibres, and there's the potential to mess it up twice for me. So when I'm spinning, I'm worried that I'm not going to spin it nice enough. And then when I get around to knitting it, I'm worried that I won't be able to knit it into a project that's right. So yeah, I sort of psych myself out of spinning sometimes. But I really love knitting with hand spun, as I said. So I thought I'll stop worrying about ruining things and just enjoy the process of using them. And the first braid I thought I would spin up is the one from Fondant Fibre. Deb sent me this just before Christmas, I think it was. Yeah, it was my episode that was just before Christmas. It was part of the Along collection. This is the Daydream Believer colourway, and it's a Blueface Leicester alpaca and nylon shimmer blend, and it was so beautiful. So it was just the sort of thing that I could easily think, oh no, I can't spin that, it's too nice. And it was absolutely beautiful to spin as well. It was just so soft. It spun itself really. It was just incredible fibre. But I did spin it, and that's the yarn I came up with. I've already balled it and started knitting with it. And it's not the best yarn I've ever spun, but it's yarn now. I really enjoyed spinning it because the fibre was absolutely beautiful. And I'm really enjoying knitting with it. It's so, so soft. I'm knitting a sock head hat with it. But I think it's a bit thicker than fingering weight, so I'm not sure of the size it will come out. We'll see. But I've just done some of the ribs so far. It's such beautiful fibre, I can't even tell you how beautiful it is. There are lovely little spots of, oh, bobbin keeps slipping off my lap. There are lovely spots of sort of lilacs and turquoises that were just really exciting to come to, and the sparkle is just sparkly enough to be lovely, but subtle enough to not really alter how the fibre feels, which it was just perfect combination. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying that. The sock head hat is a pattern by Kelly McClure. I think I've knit 4 or 5 in the past, and the hat I wear the most is a sock head hat that I knit out of some Toft alpaca. So it's a really, really great pattern. I usually just use 50 grams of sock yarn, which is about 200 odd, meters of yarn, and I think I got about 260 or something out of this, so hopefully it'll be enough to do a good length hat with just a little bit of slouch. I saw in a couple of the threads on the board that Knitty It and Lola Jojo asked how I wind my balls. I mentioned that in the last episode that I wind them around my thumb, and I do it in exactly the same way. If you have a look on YouTube at how to wind a ball of yarn on a nostopina or something like that, I'm not entirely sure the exact term, but I do that pretty much, just using my thumb instead. I wonder if I've got any yarn around here that I can show you quickly. Must have some, mustn't I? Hang on a second. Oh, bobbin. Come here. Right. I'll just show you really briefly, because I'm not sure how this will come out. So, oh dear, Bobbin's upset that I've taken my arm away. It's okay, Bobbin. I won't be long. So I take the yarn in my hand, so it sort of runs down my thumb, and it does make a centre pull ball, and then I wrap it a few times around my thumb. It really will be much clearer if you look at one of the how to make a ball of yarn on an ostepina. And then I sort of go underneath and over the top. It's focusing on just my face, which is really aggravating. Focus on my thumb. So underneath and over the top, and I'll wind that round so it's sort of at an angle. Can you see that it's sort of at an angle there? And then I'll just twist that bit round and do the same on another little patch, just round and round. So under to over. And yeah, just keep doing that for ages, sort of twisting it round every so often as you go, and it makes a nice looking ball of yarn, I think. And yeah, it's centre pull. It's how I always tend to wind my minis if I'm knitting my blanket, which I haven't started yet. Actually, speaking of my blanket, I did start it the other day because I was trying to record a tutorial of a few of the elements of how I do my blanket. It was a disaster. It was a complete disaster. So I think I need to invest in some sort of over-the-top tripod arrangement, because you wouldn't have been able to see what I was doing. So yes, I still intend to bring you that tutorial or demonstration. I don't know what would be the best way to explain it, but I just need to get some better equipment before I do, so you can actually see what I'm doing. I've got some lovely berry tea today. It's really scrumptious. So yes, that is my second work in progress. My last work in progress, it doesn't have a bag either, which is strange. My last work in progress is in my lovely bag from Mrs. Brown's Bags. I think this bag will just be in constant rotation now. I absolutely love this bag, so as soon as I finish a project in it, I'm just going to put a new one in there. And I've popped my little Moomin on there. Oh, it's just so cute. I think Jodie's got some bags like this in the shop. I think she just did an update just recently. She's got some other fantastic bags as well. So in here is my True Friend jumper by Vera Valimaki. I started this last year as a sort of distraction when we were in the sort of midst of almost going to move and the contracts weren't coming through, and it was all just really stressful. And then we did move, so this just got packed, and I haven't felt any inclination to work on it again because it just was associated with memories of a stressful time. But then I saw that Nessa from the Kill to Craft podcast had started one, and it just sort of made me think, oh, maybe I should pick that one back up again, because it's such a lovely jumper. I don't usually print out pictures on patterns. But there's one here. It's a really, really lovely pattern. It's got this sort of bib section, and then you stripe yarns. You stripe your yarns all around. And it was definitely the interesting construction that got to me and made me want to knit it. So when I put it away, I think I had, what's my clock? I think I had the front done. No, I put it away when I'd almost finished the front, I think. So I've now, this is just going to be so difficult to show you because it's all bunched up on the needles. But now I've finished the back. You're right, Bob. Oh, come here. As well, and I've picked up all the stitches around the edges, and I've started the striped portion now. The neck looks really, really wide, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so this is what it looks like. It doesn't look much like a jumper, does it? But there's the little sleeve bit, or the start of where the sleeve is going to be, and then the yarn is striping there. And it's really, really fun. I love picking up stitches, so that was fun to do, because you knit the front and the back, and then you pick up the stitches all the way around to then start knitting the body of the pattern. But yeah, it's quite difficult to see on the needles. It's quite difficult to sort of get an idea of what it's going to look like when it's on the needles. I'm using Jop's Baby Silk Alpaca. Not sure of the colour of it, but I don't think I've made a project page yet, but I will do. And I'm using this lovely skein of speckled yarn from the Wool Barn that is just so beautiful. If this pattern works out, and I say this now when I'm really, really enjoying knitting it, but if it works out, I think it might be one that I repeat, because it's really nice being able to use just a single skein of special yarn in a jumper, in something I'm going to wear. So I really, really like that. It makes it a much more affordable jumper because I'm pairing it with a much less expensive yarn. The Drops is quite cheap, really, but it's got that really special touch of the nice hand-dyed speckle. So yeah, I really, really hope this works out. I'm knitting it on 3.5mm Chiaogu this time, which is unusual. These are my interchangeables, and I decided to use the Chiaogu needles. I was using my higher sharps, but the cable on here is much stiffer, so it doesn't get too bunched up. The stitches move really nicely across this cable. The cable's really shiny and quite stiff, so it just seems to be working out nicely for this project. Yeah, I'm enjoying that. It's quite, I think I've got to do 21 stripes or something like that, I'm not entirely sure, and I've done 3, and the rows are getting longer, so we will see on the sort of 15th and upwards stripe whether I'm still enjoying it quite as much. But at the moment it's just really, really quite lovely. You've got the interest of changing yarns, and then every other row you have to concentrate a bit more because you're doing some increases and decreases. So yeah, really, really fun. I absolutely love the interesting construction of that one. Put that back in here. so on to finished objects, and I've got lots and lots of finished objects today. Oh, bobbin. My lap's too slippery for you, isn't it? It tends to happen because I knit so many things at the same time. When I do eventually finish something, they tend to come in a bit of a group. You good boy. So yeah. Now the first thing you haven't seen at all, and the ends haven't been sewn in yet, but a friend of my mum's has just got a Chihuahua. She is the tiniest thing. She is about 1/4 of the size of Bobbin, and she was a rescue. I think she's 6 months old, so she probably won't grow that much more. I always sort of think that Bobbin's quite small, especially if we go out, because the dogs that we see are mostly a lot bigger than him. So he always seems quite a small dog. But then seeing this dog and coming back to Bobbin, it just seems huge. Don't you, Bobbin? Ginormous. Oh, yes. So anyway, this little Chihuahua was getting very, very cold. And so her owners asked if I would knit a little jumper for her. So I said yes, because how long can a tiny little dog jumper take? The answer is a little while. And this is what I've knit for her. I used some opal yarn, and it's so small. It is so, so tiny. There's the little... There's not a good way to show this. I really, really hope that she'll send me some photos that I can add to my Ravelry page and show you how it works as a jumper. But yeah, I did it with a little roll neck because I thought that would be nice. And well, the pattern I used was called the Perfect Fit Dog and CAT Sweater Pattern Generator, top down, and it's by Jessica Lane. It's a free pattern, and I think it's a good basis for knitting a dog coat, but I think I made a few changes to it. I made a few changes to it. I think for a free pattern so I made a few modifications to it. I hope this fits the dog's body well. I can't imagine. I never knit for dogs that I can't try on as I go. So yeah, this was a bit more challenging really. Yeah, I think it will work. It'll be fine. But anyway, when I did the armholes, instead of, in the pattern she says to cast off the stitches and then cast on again. I just put the stitches on waist yarn as you would with an afterthought heel, and then came back and picked them up again. And when you go down and knit the body, she says to cast off the belly stitches and then carry on the back, and then when you're going to rib you pick up the belly stitches again. And I didn't do that, I just left them on the needle and then just went back and forth on the back stitches. So yeah, I just made a few little tweaks so that it would make more sense to me of how to do it. But yeah, as a sort of basic and free pattern generator, I think it was very good, really. So I need to sew the ends in and maybe give it a bit of a block, and then get it over to the little dog. She is so adorable. She's just so completely sweet. We're not sure if we want another dog though, are we, Bobbin? No. So yeah, that was quite a good little project, and it must have used about 30 grams of opal. So not very much at all. I can still get socks out of that skein, which is good. So that's my first work in progress. That's my first finished object. My second finished object are my underground socks. I had finished these in the last podcast, but I hadn't blocked them yet. So I thought I'd save them until I blocked them to show you. They just turned out lovely. I really, really love them. I love how The yarn is lovely and colourful, but the colours are really spread out but even. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. I really, really love how these turned out. I did a fish lips kiss heel in some contrasting yarn, and then just a regular wedge toe. Well, I do them slightly rounded, but nothing too interesting. But I've had some questions about socks, so I thought I would answer them today. We've got a couple of threads in the podcast group. I think one of them's called "What would you like to see on the podcast?" and another one's called "Is there anything you'd like to ask?" or something like that. So if you do have questions, do ask in there, and I will try to answer them. So I had a couple of questions about how I cast on. Vingirl and Barbear both asked about that, and Vingirl was saying that her long tail wasn't stretchy enough, and I do use long tail cast on because I find it quite neat. I like the substantialness of it, and I find that I can vary the tension on that without it looking untidy, which is why I like it. But so yeah, I use long tail, but if you wanted something stretchier, then Zena on her podcast, Little Yellow Uke, she's mentioned a couple of times that she uses the Tilly Buddies super stretchy cast on or something like that. I'll pop a link to the YouTube video in the show notes, or if I don't, just remind me. And I've used that before, and that's very, very stretchy. So I would recommend trying that one if you want something really, really stretchy, because when I tried it, it was. Lapdog Knits asked how to join a different colour at the heel area so that it won't ever separate or be a weak area when it's being worn. And I literally just put in a new yarn. I get to where I'm going to put my heel, stitch it, or where I'm going to put my heel or heel flap, and just start knitting with a new yarn. I've never found that that is an area of weakness, because it's just another line of knitting. You sew in your ends just like you would anywhere so that they're nice and secure. But no, I've never found that it's a particularly problematic area or a delicate area. So I'd say just join it in. And Jen from Jersey asked about the fish lips kiss heel, which is the heel that I used here, and tends to be the heel that I use with yarns that I don't want to change the gauge with a gusset or anything like that. So self-striping, and these I didn't want this to change at all, so I used the fish lips kiss heel. And she was saying about how the amount of information in that pattern, although useful, is a bit overwhelming. And I have to admit, I haven't read the pattern. I have just flipped to where the heel starts and used that. Because I tend to do top-down socks, I just knit the leg for however long I want the leg and then put in the heel. And then you can just knit the foot for however long it needs to be. So I know that my toe is about 1.5 inches long, so I just knit until 1.5 inches less than the measurement that I want the final sock to be. So yeah, I do agree that there is a lot of information in that, and if you utilise that information and do the cardboard cut out of your foot and things like that I've seen other people have done, and they've had great success with that, I just am a bit impatient and just wanted to know how to do the heel. And I guess because I've knit a lot of socks, it was fine to work out where that would go without the cardboard cutouts and stuff. But yeah, I'd say just flip to the bit with the heel instructions, knit them, and then carry on with your sock. So I hope those things were helpful. I never feel like I'm very good at explaining things, so if it wasn't clear enough, then just let me know and I'll try and explain better. So my next finished object It's my doodler. So if you're still not looking at these shawls finished objects, then I'm about to show mine. But yes, this is finished and I've worn it a couple of times and I absolutely love it. It's turned out to be just a lovely, lovely size. I love how the colours work together, and I love all the different elements in this shawl. I just think it's so fun. I love that stripy bit. I just think that that's so beautiful, and I'm really, really thrilled with how the speckled yarn worked up. I love this squishy cable. I just think it's so interesting and unusual, just fun. And then this wavy bit at the end, although not fun to knit at all, is really, I just think is really lovely on the shawl. There are 3 options for the edging. I just did the I-cord bind off with a few rows of the contrast beforehand, because that just suited my style better, I think, because I really do like simple things. So yeah, the one with the picot clusters I just felt was too much for me. But I really like that you can customise the pattern to your likes. I think that's really, really good. But yeah, I'm just really, really thrilled with this. So this is hedgehog fibres, sock in stone. This is hedgehog fibres in teacup. And this is Madeleine Tosh in Pop Rocks. Tosh Merino Light in Pop Rocks. Yeah, I'm just really, really happy with that. Honestly, it wouldn't be finished if Mum hadn't knit some of it for me. She knit quite a lot of these garter stitch sections, just the plain bits, and then she'd give it back to me for these sort of yarn over bits. And I was just losing interest with it, really, because it was just so many stitches. They were like 600 and something at some point, and I was losing interest because my attention span does wane sometimes, especially when there are so many other lovely things that I want to be knitting. So yes, thank you, Mum, because without your help this wouldn't be finished at all. I'm sure of it. So I really, really love that. It's a really lovely weight and a really lovely size, so I can tell I'm going to get an awful lot of wear out of that. Oh, I suppose I should show you how I've been wearing it. I haven't really experimented with it very much. I just whack it on like I do all of my shawls, really. So with the cable at the top, and then bring that bit around the back. That's pretty much how I've been wearing it. I just think it's really, really lovely, really interesting and unusual. And this yarn is so soft. That's really lovely to wear. But I'm sure there are other more inventive ways to wear it. That is just my standard, how I put on a shawl type thing. So that was the Doodler by Stephen West. I'm sure you know the pattern. I don't think I mentioned it by name. So my last finished object, I don't know why I keep saying work in progress. It smells so good. Is my Because I Love You wrap from Amy, who is Inked Indigo. The pattern's out now and the knit along's going on in the Periscoping Sisters Ravelry group, so do go and join in with that if you'd like to. And this just turned out beautifully. I'm so thrilled with it. Love that picot edge at the bottom, and the I-cord type edge at the top gives it a really nice stable feeling there. And I love how the colours have worked together. Just so thrilled with this. It's a little cast off at the edge. It's It's really lovely. And I'm so pleased that I did it in the Madeleine Tosh Merino light as well, because it's just made a really lovely size shawl. So I put this one on in exactly the same way. I don't vary these things much, but I just love how it looks. It's just absolutely lovely. And it was going to be for Mum. Oh, it's giving me his little paw. Are you okay? It was going to be for Mum, but I really quite like it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I have told her it's for her, so I probably should follow through on that, but it's so beautiful and so lovely to wear. This is a lovely weight as well. It's much, much lighter, but it's still got a lovely weight to it. It's nice and drapey because of the singles yarn. Yeah, so thrilled with that. I'd highly recommend the pattern for both of these shawls. Actually, they were both really fun knits. And I saw another question in the in one of the threads on the Ravelry group, and Strider Knits asked about blocking, and I thought that these shawls were a really good example of how I block. I have the little jigsaw map pieces that you can put together. The ones that I got are just ones that are children's toys, or for children to play on. I don't really know what they're used for, but it's some sort of, they're from the children's section, but I think they're pretty much the same as ones that you can get specifically for knitters. They were just a bit cheaper, I think. And I always lay those down to block onto if I'm blocking a shawl or something that has to be on the ground. And I always tend to wet block my knits if I'm blocking them. I haven't ever tried steam blocking. I'm sure there are times when it's really useful and perhaps I should give it a go, but I haven't yet tried that. So yes, I will fill the sink or a bowl with some sort of tepid, slightly warm water, unless I've got a colour that I think is going to bleed, like this. I did this in cold water just in case this pink decided to go and spread itself around. So yeah, with a little bit of wool wash, and leave it in there for about 15-20 minutes, sometimes more if I forget about it. And then I'll lay it on a towel and roll that towel up and stand on the towel to get out all of the excess water, and take it to my blocking mats. The reason I thought that these would be a really good sort of example of how I block is because I block them both differently. With this one, I didn't use any blocking wires. I just laid it out and used a few pins. So I put, and I think blocking you just sort of have to experiment with. I was quite nervous to start using blocking wires because I felt like there was a right way, but I'm not sure that there is a right way. I think there is just a way that you get the results that you want. So I think it is all about experimenting. But with this, I just put a couple of pins in the holes that were made from doing this cable along the top. And then I put a few pins in these curves. I put quite a few quite close together so that it would keep a nice rounded edge there. And yeah, so I just had a few pins along the top, and then sort of clusters of pins trying to keep the curve nice and smooth around the edges of this. And that worked out well for that one. And for this one, I used blocking wires. Robin, I need my arm, my baby. Yeah, I used blocking wires for this one. So I put a blocking wire, or I think two. I put two blocking wires along the edge, the top edge here. And then I put blocking wires through all of the picots. And I stretched out the picots quite a lot actually, because I wanted them to be quite a feature. I think you can see more here. So yeah, every edge of this had blocking wires on it because yeah, I wanted to stretch out the picots and I wanted to get a nice straight edge at the top here. And when you use blocking wires, you don't need as many pins, which is really useful. Yeah, and then I'll just leave it until it's dried and all staying in place. Hi baby. So again, I hope that's helpful. Do let me know if I didn't explain anything well enough, or you would like clarification on anything that I mentioned. But yeah, my main sort of plan when blocking is to just see what the knit seems like it wants, and sometimes that means blocking wires and sometimes that means pins, but yeah, usually I will wet block them, especially for shawls, because I tend to want as much not as much stretching as I can, because I don't want to distort the shape, but I tend to want the fabric to be as malleable as it possibly can be, so that I can choose what it looks like. Right, so on to lovely things. Do you want to go on the floor? Put you there in your little bed. Oh dear, no, he's not happy about that. Oh, come here then. You're so silly. Oh dear. So, lovely things. I've got lots of lovely things to show you today. I know I said I wasn't going to show you lovely things that I got at Christmas in the last episode, and I didn't get any lovely yarny things from my family for Christmas, actually. Well, that's not entirely true, I suppose. In March, I think it is, I'm going to the retreat being hosted by Curious Handmade, Helen. It's in Cumbria. It's a small retreat and in a lovely country hotel. I think the plan is that we just sit and knit together, which just sounds lovely. So yes, David did get me that for Christmas, which is really exciting because I haven't had a holiday in ages, so I'm really going to make the most of just completely relaxing on that time, although I'm already missing Bobbin. Just the thought of being away from him is quite upsetting. Oh. But anyway, really looking forward to that, and that was a sort of fibre related Christmas present, I suppose. But I got some lovely yarny things and fibre things from some other people for Christmas, which was really exciting. I got a lovely package from my friend Alex. I've mentioned Alex on the podcast quite a few times. She used to have the username Time to Sew. She has inspired quite a few of my projects because she just knits such beautiful things. And she has changed all of her names on social media to Alex Collins Designs because she started up a shop. Her shop is just beautiful. She uses really thoughtfully sourced fabric and prints her own fabrics using screens that she has completely made herself. And they're beautiful things. And she sent me this notions roll, which is just gorgeous. Her cutouts, so she cuts out all of these pieces from her screen with a scalpel. They're so delicately and beautifully done. I can't even, it's just amazing. Such perfect prints. I did a term or so of printing at uni, and getting a lovely clean print is really not easy, and these are just impeccable. So yes, Alex sent me this lovely roll. It's just gorgeous. I've got a tin of stitch markers in there, which is just going to be the noisiest thing, so I'll try and make it quiet as possible. It's like that, a little pocket. I filled it with my notions. Just beautiful. That lovely little splash of subtle colour with her gorgeous prints. It's just so beautifully made. And she also sent me this lovely little needle book, which is also printed. It's just, I can't tell you how beautiful they are. And this adorable little notebook with her design on as well. I would so highly recommend going and having a look at Alex's shop. It's alexcollinsdesigns.com. I'll put links in the show notes. Her work is just so beautifully made, and it's just art. It's incredible. So yeah, I absolutely love those. I'm just enjoying using them so much. Thank you so much, Alex. They're just so beautiful. I also got some lovely yarn from Deb. Deb and I exchanged prezzies, and this is the yarny part of my present. We exchanged, or we kind of swapped a skein from our stash. And how perfect is this for me? Can you see the sparkles in there? So sparkly and lovely, and I love these colours. So this is going to be so fun to knit. This is Unicorn Dream on Twinkle 4-ply from Easy Knits, and I do love Easy Knits yarns. So yeah, I was thrilled with that. Deb got me some other lovely things as well, like a lovely bottle of Prosecco that David and I shared on New Year's Eve, and really thoughtful package. And I got a lovely package from Caroline, who is Seaside Girl. She sent me some very sweet little things. Oh, got fluff in my nose, sorry. And also these lovely minis. Lovely selection of minis from Caroline. And so excitingly, one of these, because I met up with Caroline when we went to the Curious Handmade Crimbo party. Caroline was there, and it was so lovely to meet her, because I've chatted with Caroline for quite a while really, and it's just so lovely to meet her. But these were the socks. This is yarn from the socks that she was knitting when we went to the Crimbo party, so I thought that was so lovely to have that. So yeah, thank you for those, Caroline. So yes, I got another completely lovely, really generous package as well. Jodie from Mrs. Brown's Bags, who just has been so lovely to me, just so kind. Heard on one of my podcasts when Kemper sent me a lovely package of Felici that I'd asked for, but I couldn't get the Wizard colourway because it had sold out too quickly. And Jodie said that she had 2 skeins, or 2 balls, and would very happily give them to me. So I just thought that that was so generous. I absolutely love these colours. They are so fun. Purples, lime green, a sort of aqua blue, and then a sort of cornflowery type blue. Just love them. I'm knitting David's socks at the moment, the Baker Street ones with Felici, and I'm just enjoying them so much. And I haven't got any Felici socks. David has. I think my mum has, but I haven't, so I need to knit myself a pair of Felici socks, I think. She sent me some other lovely things which were just very generous, some lovely little pampering things. But she also sent me these. I'll take them out of the bag actually. They're little mini scheme key rings, which is so cute, from No Makers. I just think they're so adorable. So I need to put one of these on my keys, definitely. Thank you so much, Jodie. It's just it's so lovely. Yeah, they're very exciting. So as I mentioned earlier, I went to Waltham Abbey Wool Show the week before last. And it was nice. It was quite a small show. I think I was only there probably about an hour and a half, and I'd seen everything or walked around everything a couple of times. It's similar to Festival. I think they had quite a lot of the same vendors there. So yeah, it was just a little event. But I feel so lucky that we've got these little events in close proximity here, because it's just lovely to take a little trip and have a look at some yarn. And yeah, if you can see people that you know, then that's a bonus, and just see some lovely things. It's always really, really inspiring. So I enjoyed going to that. As I mentioned earlier, I got this lovely basket. I couldn't resist it because it's a different shape from the other baskets that I've got. I've got that giant one and I've got a round one, but this sort of oval is a different shape to those. And I got the Take Heart book by Fiona Alice, which I've already shown you. And on Fiona's stand, she had a stand with someone else, Lily T, Natalie sells lilyt.ca, and she had these lovely little bags. I don't know if she prints these or how they work, but I just thought it was so cute. Just a really, really sweet little drawstring bag with double points. I thought that was lovely. And since double points are my needles of choice with sock projects, I thought I had to get one of those. It also comes with a little soak sachet, which is fun, and I will enjoy using that. And I thought I was out of there. I thought, gosh, I've made it all the way through this show without buying yarn, and then I saw this. This is Autumn Fall by Unbelievable. It's a superwash merino, nylon and stellina sock yarn. I was just really drawn to the colours in this. Of course I love it because it's sparkly, but I really love this sort of tan colour. I just think that's gorgeous. And that tan mixed with that pink there, I couldn't leave it behind. So yeah, I think that will make some interesting socks. I popped the heating on before I started recording. I knew that it would start getting too hot. I only put it on really low, but I think it's all the chatting warms me up. So that was really, really fun. And then last weekend, see, I've been so lucky with yarny events close by, because the Waltham Abbey Wool Show, I only found out about that the morning that it was on, and so we popped along. I'm also very lucky that David is so accommodating with my various woolly whims. And then I saw that there would be a John Arbon trunk show at Sitting Knitting. Sitting Knitting, I've been to before and I've chatted about it on the podcast before. It's a completely lovely yarn shop in Sutton Coldfield. It's a couple of hours away from us. And I did think, maybe that's pushing it. We went to Waltham Abbey Wool Show the week before. Maybe I shouldn't drag David to another yarny event. But we didn't have any plans for the Saturday, so we went along, and it was just so fun. So I was just telling you about the trunk show, or I was just going to start telling you about the trunk show at Sitting Knitting with John Arbon. So yeah, the shop is a couple of hours away, and I didn't think that we'd go, but then we decided to at sort of midday or something, so we didn't get there until about 3. But I'm so happy that we did go, because it was just so lovely. Right, my baby. I love sitting knitting. The shop is just fantastic. It's got such a lovely atmosphere, and yeah, I really wish it was my local yarn shop. It's just perfect local yarn shop. And I love John Arbon yarn, so yeah, I'm so pleased we went. I also got to see Zena, who is Little Yellow Uke, who I'll mention again later. And that was so lovely. I met Zena last year at Fibre East, which was really nice. So it was just so lovely to see her again. She is absolutely lovely, and yeah, it was just such a lovely day. And they let Bobbin go in, which is good, wasn't it, Bobbin? You enjoyed it, didn't you? So it was perfect, all in all. And John Arbon had bought lots of their yarns and fibre as well. I really like John Arbon yarn. It's all British, I believe, and it's all milled by them in their mill, all spun and processed and things at their mill in Devon, which is lovely to have such a sort of local yarn. Can you see him over there? Who knows why he's gone over there. Anyway, so I came away with a few things in this lovely little bag. I didn't get any fibre because I need to work through some of my stash of fibre, I think, before I buy any more. I say that now. If I see some that I feel completely in love with, I'll probably abandon that plan. But I got a skein of this. This is Viola, and it's a DK weight, 100% merino wool. It's got different shades of blue and some grey in there as well. It's really gorgeous. Yeah, it's really lovely. Don't know if you can see the label, it probably is a bit blown out. But this is to knit David a hat. David has got, I think, 3 hats, and they're all football-y type hats. Should you move the camera so that they can see you? Oh my goodness, you're so cute. He's got 3 hats, and they're all sort of football related hats, so they're just football colours. So I'd quite like him to have a hat when we're not at football. That doesn't look like a football hat. Oh, this yarn keeps dropping off my lap. Oh. So yeah, I thought we could try this. And he's quite, he likes soft things. And this is very soft. So you'll like that, won't you, Bobbin? Yeah. Goodness me, you're so cute. And then I got some yarn for me. I got 4 skeins of this Alpaca Delight. I think this is a new yarn for John Arbon. It's a 4-ply fingering weight. I think it's a light fingering weight. Yeah, 425 meters for 100 grams. And it's 70% alpaca and 30% Falklands merino. And it's just so beautiful. It's such a lovely dusky pink colour. I'm not sure that the colour will come across very well over the camera, because it's quite a delicate colour. Really sort of blush pink, pretty colour. It's the raspberry colourway, and it's like raspberry cream. It's just gorgeous. So I'm thinking of knitting a featherweight out of this. I think that because I started knitting a featherweight in some baby alpaca silk by Drops, I just got bored. I think I need some really lovely yarn to knit my featherweight for me to not get bored. I think that this will do the trick because it's really lovely. It's so soft. I like the halo on it as well. It's really lovely and fuzzy. Yeah, I think it'll make a really lovely featherweight. So yeah, we got to hang around in the lovely yarn shop, have a very nice cup of tea, look at all of the beautiful yarns that John Arbon had bought, and yeah, spend some time with some really lovely people. It was such a good day, wasn't it, Bobbin? So very, very worth going. I'm going to keep an eye out for the things that are happening at Sitting Knitting, because it is a bit of a distance, but it's so lovely. It's such a lovely yarn shop, and it's just so inspiring going to these things where you see other people and hear about what they're knitting. The owner of the shop had on a lovely cardigan that she knitted, and Zena is actually knitting the same pattern. It's called Skew. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern, and I love the colours that Zena's using actually. But I really want to knit that, and it's the sort of pattern that had I seen it on Ravelry, I would have just completely not paid it a second thought really, because I just wouldn't have been drawn to it. But seeing it on someone just gives you a different feel of the pattern, and yeah, it was just absolutely lovely. So it was really, really fun. Oh, you're such a good boy. So yes, I don't think that there'll be any more yarny events for me this weekend. I think David's probably had enough of those for a while. And then next weekend, Molly from our homespun house will be over, so we'll have our own sort of yarny fun here, which will be really, really good. I'm really excited for Molly to come over. I think we're going to just spend a lot of time sitting and knitting and chatting and drinking tea and coffee. We are going to try and podcast, because I think that would be really fun, but she's really not here for very long at all, so I'm not sure that we're going to have time. I think it's just going to go in a flash, really. So yeah, but I'd love it if we could try. It would be fun. The next yarn event I think that is coming up that I'm definitely going to, I'm very, very excited about, is Unravel at Farnham Maltings. I can't remember the exact date, but I think it's at the end of February. Maybe the 20... No, I won't say a date because I'll just get it wrong and that'll be confusing. But yes, if you are going to Unravel at Farnham Maltings, then do let me know if I might see you. I'm going on the Sunday with my mum and Auntie Jack, and I'm really looking forward to it. Unravel, I think I've said before, is my favourite festival. Yeah, my favourite ever festival. It's just so lovely. They have such lovely stalls there with such lovely stuff on, and yeah, it's really, really nice. Really nice show. So my last little thing to talk about is a knit along. Last year, and Zabelle, you mentioned this in the what do you want to see on the podcast thread. Last year, Zena and I did a knit along together. Zena came up with the great idea of having a little along in the littlest month of the year, because we both have little in our names, and I just thought that that was lovely, and it was so fun to do it last year. It was just lovely seeing all the different things that people made, and we're going to do it again this year. Really, really exciting. I haven't decided what I'm going to make yet. I have to give it some thought. But yes, if you would like to join in the little along, then please do. It's going to be in February, throughout the month of February, and the plan of the knit along is just, or the little along, is just to knit something little, or knit something with little yarn or little needles, or for a little person, or you could littlify something big, like make a softie that's supposed to be big, smaller, or something like that. Whatever your interpretation of little is, really. So that tiny little jumper, while I was waiting for the camera to charge, I went and blocked the jumper. that would be a perfect thing for the little Along, because it's a little thing for a tiny little dog. Or I was thinking that I might make a headband from the Take Heart book. I think I tidied that away already. But there are some lovely headbands in there, and I'd quite like to try and make one of those, and they'll only take a little amount of yarn. But yes, if you would like to join in with that, then please do. I will get some prizes together, and Zena will have some prizes in her group as well. And yeah, start a thread and we can start chatting about the little things that we're going to make. So I think that's everything. I'll just try and retrieve my notes from underneath bobbin. Are you quite comfortable there and using my notebook as a pillow? Sorry. Just check there wasn't anything else that I wanted to mention. No, I think that's everything. Well, thank you so much for coming and spending a bit of time with me today. I really appreciate you coming to watch, and I hope you're really well, and I'll look forward to chatting to you again if you'd like to come back. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.